Max Verstappen and Red Bull plucked another victory out of a difficult weekend in Barcelona, just as they did at Imola 3 races ago. As at the Italian venue, a major rethink on the car's wing level was made into Saturday, but in this case in the opposite direction, from a smaller wing to a bigger one. This came as the team incorporated their latest upgrades on the car, making it quite a complex weekend, especially with the big variation in track temperatures from Friday to Saturday. Monday morning debrief. Here's how Norris could have won the Spanish Grand Prix. A new rear beam wing was part of the car's upgrade. Its span had been expanded to merge into a new end plate geometry, designed to generate more load from the beam wing itself. In order to incorporate this change, the lower part of the main wing's end plates were moved outboard. In addition, the radiator inlets had been revised to induce a higher pressure of air being fed there, so as to minimize the area of aerodynamically damaging outlet louvers. This brought with it a change to the engine cover side panels and floor, to optimize the airflow from the new bodywork. It was in this form that Verstappen ran the car on Friday, after which he reported, "The car wasn't really stable enough." For qualifying, the new wing was discarded and a bigger one fitted. On the original wing, with a smaller top flap and longer main plane, Verstappen was losing time in the slow and medium-speed corners, despite the great aero efficiency of the RB20. Despite running a smaller wing than McLaren on Friday, the Red Bull remained quicker through the two seriously high-speed turns of T9 and T14 thanks to its great underbody downforce. We can see from the table below that it was quicker than the McLaren at the end of the straights and through the two fast corners. Yet still the McLaren lapped faster. That was a function of how much lap time Verstappen was losing in the slower corners, particularly turns 10 and 12. On the super hot track surface, the Red Bull's tires were just not biting in the slower corners. Adding front wing would only have made the car too nervous in the fast corners. What was needed was more total downforce from the front and rear wings. The bigger rear wing would allow more flap angle to be used on the front for that slow speed grip, while their high speed balance would be maintained, but at the expense of more drag. Into qualifying, using the higher power unit modes, both the Red Bull and McLaren were faster down the straights, but the Red Bull's newly increased rear wing meant its straight line advantage over the McLaren narrowed. Furthermore, the increased track grip from the much lower track temperatures meant that the McLaren was now able to be almost as fast as the Red Bull in the two super fast turns of 9 and 14. The increased grip had negated a key Red Bull advantage. As Verstappen commented afterwards, "We were already flat in those corners, so it didn't help us, but it did help them." We can see that reflected in how Norris was now able to carry the same apex speed at turn 14 as Verstappen, whereas previously he was 7 km/h slower there. The Red Bull's bigger wing had eliminated much of the previous slow speed deficit to their McLaren, but the increased track grip had given the McLaren almost as much lap time in the faster corners. Let us know in the comments, and we will see you in the next video.